Alright. You just come by me, Raven. Hey, Raven, come here. Raven, come here. Come. Come. Come in. Come right here. Hey, come on. No, just let them have that. Come right here. This is good right here. You just stay right by me, Raven. No, just right here. Come right up here by me. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? You come right here. Come right here. Get up here by me. No. No. Just no. Come on. Tekla. Come here. What? What have you been doing anyway? This is Raven, obviously. We were just hiking back up at the water. We had a nice hike back there. We've been all over this zone, all over that zone. We've had a nice hike. But they found some rodent right there. They can just fool around with that. I'm going to keep her right here by me for right now. She won't stay in the video. She'll go over there. Just come up by me here. Just stay right here, buddy. Get right in here. Right, that's my girl. Oh, that's my big girl. Right. Good. This is a Swedish Jämthund female. Raven is her name. Very special dog. She's one of my elite dogs. This is an extremely good dog. This is not just your standard dog. She's very gifted, this dog. No, you just stay by me. I'm not sending you over there. I don't know, well, I'm not sure what day it is, but it's Mother's Day. Whatever day that is. Maybe that's the 10th, right? Of May. So, beautiful, gorgeous day out here in the wild. And I have Raven with me today. She's got a special skill set, this dog. And this dog alerts me to people. So she has a different role than all my dogs. She's not in social work whatsoever. This is a very high-level warrior dog. I have her geared to tell me when people are coming, and she's full tilt. So she doesn't hike like the rest. She can hike like the rest, but she's not geared for that. I've got her geared to a different task. I knew these days were coming years ago, and as everybody knows, I live out in the middle of nowhere. I have no TV, no radio. I don't have cell phone where I live or here. I meet no one, see no one, and we're remote. We raise dogs. I raise these two types, the Swedish and the Norwegian. And the skill set on these dogs, the abilities are very, very broad. And so everybody's aware we're in a full-on war right now, and good versus evil. And we knew it was coming. It is no surprise only to the sound asleep, but anybody that's awake knew it was coming. And the rats are running, and they're all over. There's no longer borders anymore. This is not a country-by-country fight any longer. It's global. Global forces are together. I heard the pastor talking this morning. He couldn't believe what was going on in Canada. He says Canada's not like that. He could believe it somewhere else, but he can't believe it here. And I thought to myself, he's not quite awake yet. It has nothing to do with Canada. It has nothing to do with France. It has nothing to do with Russia or US. We're all in it. It's a global. And if you've got a good heart, a pure heart, and you're in Texas, or you're sitting here, or you're in Zimbabwe, or you're in Moscow, you're on the same team. And what you're going to find now is the enemy's right amongst us. It's hard to tell where they are. They've weaponized huge chunks of the population. And it's the enemy's right amongst us. There'd be women waking up today finding out for years they've been sleeping with the enemy. And it's a shame. But it's upon us. And so now you got to use your big dogs differently. You have to use your dogs differently. The evil is coming out of people like you wouldn't believe, and it's going to come out further. The stuff they're giving them is going to turn them into no minds, and they're already no minds. We know that, but it's going to get worse. Plus, all the evil's going to get worse for a while. So you've got to keep your big dogs handy now. And for everybody with one of mine, they're pretty fortunate because these are still pure dogs. You see, the dogs have been attacked the same way that people have. They've tried to diffuse all the pure blood. They've tried to bring out all these crossbreds and designer dogs, and they've tried to vaccinate away all the health of the pure dogs. Tried to control all the breeding down into these little pockets of associations where they limit the genetic supply and get to breed weaker. And there's only a handful of people that are breeding outside of the evil and still breeding preservation breeding and breeding the real pure lines and not succumbing to that. And a lot of people, even with my dogs, they succumb. They put stuff on their dogs. They take things for their dogs that the guy in the white coat tells them they should have, and they fall for all that nonsense, and they feed them the crap and the poisons. And I tell people, don't do that. Don't go for that. But they fall for it. And they're just not awake. But these are pure. This is the last known, almost the last known pure group. And they're not diffused. They're not diluted. There's no evil in them. And it's amazing how they've worked against me to control and manipulate the breeding and manipulate the way we raise them and tell us all this nonsense and lies and all the junk that they tell us. Yeah, it was almost 16 years ago. Well, 15 anyway. And I took Dakota into the vet. And I went in first. I told them all, I said, you guys back up a little bit. They don't like you guys. And they said, we're good. I said, well, we'll find out if you are. And he just put them all against the wall. Just 2 seconds flat. Lined them all up. I held him, got his booster, his rabies, took him back out, came to pay. The vet says, oh, you should never breed a dog like that. And I said, that's why you're giving needles and I'm breeding. I said, that's exactly the right dog to breed. I said, and if he didn't need his rabies, if I didn't think he might encounter something with rabies, I wouldn't have given it to him. But I felt he might encounter it. But I said, you leave the breeding to me. I said, and you do your stuff. I never went back to him again. And it's been a challenge every single time because they have their agendas. No, don't go by my camera. They have their agendas and they have their plans to decimate and destruct and destroy. And they fight us at every angle. And they confuse people. March of last year, when the COVID was at full swing, they had major lockdowns. They had all the businesses shut down. They had shut all mine down, shut every small business down, shut everything. They were flying in pups from puppy mills from overseas like Ukraine, 500 at a time into Toronto on pallets, shrink wrapped. They send them out to the shelters and they tell everybody that, oh, take a dog from the shelter, they're needing homes, and they're just puppy mills. They're breeding them like crazy, and they're getting paid by the shelters to bring them in, and they're telling all the people, well, come to the shelter, and then they give them junk food, they get them on the vet programs, and they're giving them these dogs that are guaranteed to be sick, and they're shooting them full of everything, and they're carrying disease all over. And then people phone me and want a pure dog, and then call back saying, no, we think we'll take the help out at the shelter. And I'm like, that's fine, totally fine, I got a long list. But at the same time, those people are asleep. Businesses right in their field, right in their range, are struggling, working hard to make it, and they're supporting puppy mills and evil. And not just the puppy mill either, it's the evil people that arranged the flight, carried all those people in. Can you imagine the flight people putting that on, shrink wrapping those pallets so that there was 38 pups dead when it arrived and 40 some more that didn't make it through a couple of days? Out of 500 pups, who ships 500 pups on pallets? And the people on the other end loading them and the people on this end unloading them. The work I had to go through to bring the mother of this dog in was intense. The amount of restrictions, the absolute nightmare restrictions that they put on the breeders. And I followed all of them. I did everything correctly, went through the whole process, thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands of extra steps. But that load just flew in, handed out, nobody said a word. Yeah, so we're under attack, the same as we're seeing all our friends go down. They turn out to be not who they said they were. We see it, everybody sees it. I'm encountering it. And I've been a long way away from people for a long time. Like I've been out here because I knew years ago what was coming, so I got set up, but I still talk to people, have friends, but they're getting fewer and fewer. I'm building new friends though, which is cool. But I'll tell you what, it's a full-blown attack on the dogs, it's a full-blown attack on the people, and she's full-time war. So now if you can, you go to town, you go to places, you take your big dogs with you. You find out where you can shop with them. You get some roadside markets, you shop with your dog right there. Have it all handy. Don't get caught off guard. Don't look like a target now either. If you're a woman, you go out, you gear up, put all your gear on. It's not the time to look like a supermodel now. Don't be a target. And you know what I mean when I say get your gear on. Get her on. And don't be fooling around. Don't get caught off guard. Keep your big dog right with you. The dog will tell you right away. If I had a way to train her to smell the shot, I would. but she can smell evil just as fast, so it doesn't matter. So she's a wonderful dog. She's bred to air scent, and so it's one of those things that she could smell you coming half a mile away, and she would hair up instantly. Fascinating dog, this dog. I've kept her away from the people. I've kept her out of the social loop for the most part. I've kept her just with Dakota and Anya. Dakota trained Anya. Anya can be social, but I wanted one that had seen nobody, just like Dakota. He's seen nobody. He knows 4 people and that's it. And that's what she knows. And this nonsense of having your dog social to every single person, not in my field of vision. I don't believe in that concept. You can do it, but if you didn't know this was coming, you should have. And if you think this is not going to get really ugly, you're mistaken. And we're in it. So these big dogs are useful right now, boy. And you see, the evil knows that the dog can tell. That's why the dog's always been used in the movies to identify these mutants. It's always used because that's what it does. They always tell us what they're thinking, the evil side. And they always have to show what they're doing. That's who they are. They think we don't see it, and for the most part, nobody does. But many do. But the dog always sees. The dog always knows. Can always tell. It's deep within them. They catch energy fields like you wouldn't believe. And the raven, let's face it, that's who brought all the information to Odin. And while I'm talking about it, I got my new dish up, the Starlink. It's fascinating how good it is. And of course, we're going to hear a lot more about Project Odin. It's going to be working in the quantum system, the quantum internet. Yeah, we're going to hear a lot more about it. It's fascinating. But they named Project Odin appropriately because all those satellites, you see, they're just like the ravens. They bring that information in just like the raven did. And this dog was bred and big, and believe it or not, the ravens hang out with this dog. It's fascinating. We've got ravens that nest in the yard, and the raven has been synonymous with this dog for thousands of years, right? You follow this dog, wherever this dog goes, the raven goes. Where this dog lives, the raven lives. I'll tell you that story sometime, but that's known. So yeah, this is a cool dog for these times. But if you haven't got internet or good internet and you want good internet, that Starlink works like a charm. It used to take me 2.5 hours to push up my movies, my videos. Now it takes me 8 minutes. I can download right up to, I don't know, most days 150, 170 megabytes, lots of days 200 plus. Some nights, if it's cloudy and raining, maybe 70, 80. But at easy, many times faster than I had. My max speed before was 20. So when I hit 200, you can obviously tell how much faster that is. Unhackable, way more secure. When the quantum internet turns on completely, of course, gone are the viruses, the hackers, the evil. That'll be on right away. You just stay by me. No, you just stay by me. So yeah, very symbolic dog for the times, this dog. Yeah. The other night when that guy came, this is a complete warrior. She has no fear. She's totally fearless. Yeah. Absolute, incredibly good dog. Very valuable dog in these times. There's no doubt about it. Pretty profound. Yeah. Very low-key dog. Just easy going. But wind her up, boy. Wow. This is the toughest dog I have. The most fierce fighter. Her and Ella go head to head. But Ella doesn't have the desire to go and go and go like Raven. Raven has an intense fighting ability. Somebody pushes her there, she's going to push them like they have never seen. She never starts anything, but they come in her patty zone or in her space or bug her. She's going to scar them and teach them a lesson. Powerful dog, very fast. Very good dog. Yeah. Yeah, this is a wonderful dog. So yeah, if you got one of my dogs, you're pretty blessed these days, let me tell you. I don't know of any other breeders in North America that produce this. We're it. And those lines there are old, pure bloodlines too. All my lines are pure. All my lines are warriors. So very, very good. Yeah. So don't be falling for all the stories the so-called white coats are telling you about what you should do with your dog. You listen to some other news instead. Best to just listen to me on your dog is probably the best, really and truly, because nobody else will look after it the way I would. That's a fact. Yeah, you get yourself one of these babies, I'll tell you, you're sitting pretty good. Yeah. And don't make them over-friendly right now. They'll look after your family better. There's a storm coming. Tekla's a little, she can tell the storm. You see that? She's telling us the storm's coming. Fascinating dogs. Fascinating. Well, that's good, you guys. That's a good video. That's a good video. I hope it turned out. Just right here. Don't knock my camera over. That's good.